I think every faculty member, I think every member of the York community, but I think especially faculty members, tenure faculty members who are privileged in that position, have an obligation to address and profile the lack of support and the precarity, and that their role in the university should be recognized, not just in university, but I think in the broader community as well.
I think that tenured faculty in particular have a real responsibility to address the growing inequality within our community of scholars. The reality is that because administrators have, over the last 20 years, decided not to hire people in the tenure stream to the extent that they should, we have a real inequality. People doing more or less the same work under very, very different conditions and for different wages. And tenured faculty have a responsibility in this. We actually benefit in many ways from the existence of a pool of contract faculty. The fact that they didn't secure tenured positions often has nothing to do with their qualifications. It has to do with the decisions of university administrators about what kinds of jobs they will and will not offer in the university.
The first thing I want to say is that this is an institution that has a mission statement committed to social justice and equity. And you do not uphold those values when you have two workforces, one that has full benefits and rights and security, and the other that has precarity, lack of benefits, and a very uncertain future.
I think that all faculty have the responsibility to raise the issue of precarity among the community of instructors that we have at York University and across North America. Right now, the tenure stream professoriate is the minority. The majority of instructors are now in precarious employment. And it's only a matter of time before standards and what it means to be a professor changes, not just for the people who are precariously employed, but for all of us.
It's not possible to be creative and enthusiastic and engage with your students and engage with research if you have too many things that you're juggling, or if the workload is just too intense. So I think it actually takes away from creativity, and you can, in the end, move more towards a mechanical way of teaching. You fall back on what is familiar, what you've done before, and if you have more time and you can reflect, you can become much more creative. Your classes become more energized. It's a more positive experience for you and for the students, and everything goes much better.
The issue is that York has become increasingly dependent upon part-time or precariously employed instructors. And in many cases, these instructors do not only the bulk of the teaching, they do some of the best teaching as well. They do a great deal of teaching. They've honed their craft, not only at York University, but in some cases at several other institutions in the GTA or the Greater Toronto area as well. They are valuable contributors to the community, but at the same time, they're limited to what they can contribute because they don't have the same access to collegial governance that full-time instructors have.
In the long run, I think that everybody in the academic community is harmed by the growth of contingent academic work. Students are harmed by the fact that their teachers are often not able to put as much energy and attention to their teaching as they would like because they're teaching too many courses in order to survive. Tenured faculty are harmed by it in the long run because the pool of people who are going to be their colleagues, who can contribute to the development of our curriculum, the development of our programs and departments, who can collaborate with us on research projects, who can share the load of administrative work and governing the university, is smaller and smaller. And so that means our workloads go up as university administrators expect more and more from us. And of course, contract faculty themselves suffer because they're not able to fully realize the potential that they have come to be trained to expect. They've all done PhDs, they all have research agendas, but they have to put that aside in order to fit into the demands of university teaching. And I think that society also is harmed. Society puts a great deal of resources into post-secondary education, and it means that we are producing a whole generation of highly trained, highly educated people who are underemployed, who are not able to make full use of their skills to address the real pressing social, economic, scientific problems that we face as a society.
The impact on the quality of undergraduate programs is direct. It is not the same to have an instructor who is a full-time person, who is there, who can be committed, who is building the program, who's part of the team, and another teacher who's being paid simply to come and do the class, and who doesn't know whether next semester he or she will be there or somewhere else or nowhere. That's not the way you actually tell the undergraduate students, we're committed to your education. I coordinate a medium-sized program, and I can see the impact on students and programs as a result of having a precarious academic labor force. Our program would not exist without the contract faculty who teach in it. However, these faculty cannot be committed to the program, cannot have a sense of stability in the program, cannot have a sense of ownership in the program. All that impacts on the quality.
So let's just begin with teaching. I mean, the hard data of over 40% of all teaching being done by contract faculty, and many of them, that has to be said, also in a number of difficult courses, particularly third-year courses and second-year courses, sometimes where they don't themselves have teaching assistants as well. So that contribution, just in the sheer physical number of students that they have to teach. On the research side, I have many colleagues who are contract faculty who, despite the hindrances that they face, are remarkable in the quantity and also the quality of research that they do. So even though they don't have that kind of stability, even though they don't get access to the research money, nonetheless, many of them are able to maintain a profile of research. It's remarkable given, I think, the kinds of duties and work that they have to work with.
When you've got that big a unit teaching 43% of the undergraduate teaching at York, they are engaged scholars, so they're going to conferences, they're contributing to books and publishing articles, etc., and so on. So really, I would say they're contributing as much as they can, surprisingly a lot for the number of hours that they have to teach.
There's no doubt in my mind that contract faculty are very dedicated to teaching. There are many contract faculty who go above and beyond what is often expected of them to really connect with students and provide them with support. But the conditions of their teaching really do interfere with the quality of their work. Contract faculty are used to plug holes in the schedule. It means that contract faculty rarely have much control over what courses they teach from year to year, even from semester to semester. It can mean that they're developing a new course every semester, every year of their teaching life. Whereas tenured faculty get to teach the same courses over and over again, to refine them, to improve them, to bring more insights and knowledge, both about what the students are interested in and also what is going on in the broader field. And I think that from the perspective of students, although this is kind of invisible to them, the loss of the capacity to refine and improve the teaching, the curriculum, has a real negative impact on them.
Well, there's a myth, I think, among some people in the university that contract faculty are either too busy teaching or don't bother doing research, and I think that's wrong. There's lots of evidence that contract faculty are very active researchers. In some cases, they have to be very active because they're still searching for a full-time job. And the research they do, of course, is integrated and put into the classroom every day. Unfortunately, all of that research is sometimes not recognized. It's not part of that formal job description. And the work that goes into book chapters and books and peer-reviewed journals is simply not remunerated. It's not paid for, and it's done for free.
There is a tremendous contradiction in the relationship to research. The CUPE contract states that faculty there are not required to do research. However, in the academic programs, we want teachers who are engaged in research, who are publishing, who are going to do field work, and who are at the top of their game academically. And we set out these expectations. So there's a tremendous contradiction there and an unfairness towards the contract faculty, telling them, we do not pay you to do research, but we expect you to do research.
I think there's greater willingness on the part of faculty to recognize the precarity that many people are experiencing. There are fewer hires in Canada, makes it more difficult for people to find full-time employment. I think there's a greater recognition that we need to support people who are in precarious positions.
It really is about making decisions about how you want to allocate financial resources at university. So to give the contract faculty a sense that not only is their work valuable and that there's an end to this, that there's the possibility of them becoming full-time or that they're rollover positions. Given people's own knowledge and experience at universities, that they should be amongst the first people who should get an opportunity to apply for existing jobs.
And so I'd like to ask the York administration to do two things: to increase the amount of contract faculty conversions at this university so that they do get the same level of recognition, integration, remuneration than do full-time faculty. And to ensure that that contract faculty are better integrated into decision-making processes, into funding decisions, into access to research funds. Many of our contract faculty colleagues have been teaching for us for between 10 and sometimes even 20 years. They have the same qualifications, they teach the same amount of courses, if not more, than we do, and it's high time that they became a full part of this university.
One is to start to move more and more people from the contract stream into the permanent full-time stream. Especially after many years, you've got these high-quality academics sitting there in this precarious situation. So start to move them in. I'm actually talking about saying this year we're going to try to start the progress of what I would call emptying out the Unit 2 or the contract faculty pool into the full-time over a number of years. I would say everybody that teaches at York would be happier, that works at York or goes here as a student. It would just be a huge quality move that we could make. And then we could advertise that. It would be our time, or contract faculty's time.
One of the things that tenure most importantly provides is academic freedom. The freedom of the individual scholar to explore ideas where they take them, and sometimes to explore ideas that are challenging, that challenge the status quo, that raise uncomfortable questions, and that lead to new forms of knowledge. This is a really important part of the function of the university, which is to push against conventional wisdom. And when people are not secure, when people don't have tenure, their capacity to engage in that process is constrained. If we're interested in protecting academic freedom, it means we also have to be serious about making more of our community stable and secure.
I think increasingly full-time tenure stream and tenure track professors are going to have to use what power they have through their unions and through their administrative roles to pressure administrations to hire more full-time professors. To fail to do this jeopardizes our own jobs. And until we come to the table and start demanding that full-time complements be replaced and not diminished through attrition and through retirements, I think it's unfair to expect precarious workers and professors who sometimes are in really difficult situations to do all the fighting alone. I think there has to be greater solidarity and greater commitment to equality across the whole sector, and that means coming together, using our power to advance full-time jobs throughout the university.
I think we all have an obligation to be very active politically, whether it's people in administrative positions or full-time faculty, or indeed, obviously, the people who make up Unit 2 in 3903. To be very, very actively politically vis-a-vis the provincial and the federal government, to try to turn around the commercialization of the university, the corporatization of the university, and the appalling underfunding of the university. I think we have an obligation to ensure that the funding is not oriented to capital accumulation by construction firms, and that more of the allocation of resources, which is to a large extent determined by Queen's Park, to some extent even by the feds, is oriented to teaching, quality teaching.